already June. Oh, okay. It is now halfway through the year. 2024 has just been entirely too fast for me. I don't know about you, but it's just, no. And what even was May, honestly? I sent out my newsletter this morning and just thinking everything. It's been a whirlwind of a month. My family was out 2 days without power. It was insane. I had my birthday this month, which was crazy. I've been working on editing my book and trying to get those in. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and share what I read in May. I got 11 books in. Starting off with The Strangler's Tune. I grabbed this when it was free one day and it sounded really intriguing. It's set back in the 1940s, and this girl's getting ready for a date, and she's listening to radio updates about this murderer on the loose, and I thought it was really interesting. Unfortunately, I did not like it near as much as I had hoped. I really wanted to like this, but I did not. The setting was absolutely there. It was very immersive. I felt like I was reading a book set in the 40s, so that was really good. There were a lot of little Easter eggs and like references, so that was my favorite part, was the setting. However, when it came to Karen, the main character, I personally didn't like how impulsive she was and emotional. I don't think that worked very well, just my opinion, but I just didn't like it. And the whole thing with Becky and Jerry, in my opinion, was way too fast and just unbelievable, unrealistic, and it really kind of was a jolt reading it, and I was like, wait, what? So, yeah, I didn't care for that, and the big mighty climax, you know, I don't think it worked. That's just me. But it was a fast-moving story, very immersive. It was short, which I love that. I love short books. Prefer them to long ones. But it just, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. So I gave it 2 stars. Moving on to another freebie that I downloaded, which is The Deliverance, post-apocalyptic zombie survival story. The cover's cool. The premise of the story sounded really interesting. However, the story was entirely too fast. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It felt like instead of actual story, it was more like scene jumps. Like, we're going here, then we're gonna go over here, you know? It was very fast and entirely too fast for me. I think I would have really enjoyed this more if it had been slower, longer, and just a slower pace where the story can actually breathe a little bit more. This is the first in the series, which I'm thankful for, because a standalone, this wouldn't have worked. I don't plan to continue the series, but I am hoping the rest of it has that slower pace, because I think that'll really work nicely. I didn't like the language that was in it. It's really scary, like the scare factor. It wasn't like intense. I don't remember it being gruesome. They were kind of creepy, I don't know, but it wasn't bad, honestly. I had like an overall like just meh feeling about the book, you know? It's not something that I hated. I didn't love it. It was just kind of, like I said, I'm not going to continue the series. It's just, you know, not my cup of tea. And these next 4 I'm going to show you are not in order of when I actually read them, but since I got the whole group here, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I started reading my very first manga. And yeah, so my sister loves Death Note. A couple years ago, she had me watch the anime, and my favorite aspect of it is the detective versus the killer and just trying to, like a cat and mouse game kind of. There is language and some questionable theology in here, actually very questionable. So there's false gods and stuff like that, but the story is awesome. I read books 1 through 4, and it stays with the anime really well, so I do like the story for that. So I've just given them all like 4 out of 5 stars because I do like it. I've never read manga before, so this is a first, and it's really weird. If you don't know, you read from the back, and instead of reading right to left, you read left to right. No, I got that backwards. We read left to right. Manga, you read right to left. Okay, as you were. So it was just really strange that way, you know, but I don't know, it's kind of fun, and the more you do it, the easier it gets, because you just get used to it. Right now I'm reading book 5, which is over there on my dresser, or bookcase. My first manga, and my sister is very proud. These are hers, by the way. She let me put them on camera. So I'm gonna go put them back now. Okay. Then we have Hummingbird. If you watched my video where I did my Kindle clean out part 1, I talked all about that book, so I'm not going to really go in depth with that, but I did give it 3.75 stars. It was way more than 3 stars, not quite 4, but it was more than 3.5. It was one of those awkward books that just kind of falls in the middle. Things I didn't like, there were several typos that did pull me out of the story, and it was hard to keep up with all the names because there were so many characters, like an insane amount of characters. And so it was hard to keep up with that. But I loved the setting, and I loved the writing was really beautiful. The plot was awesome, and I loved following along with Margie's story as she grows up with the Romanoff family and just becomes part of the family, then finds her own family, and then you have the whole World War I thing going on, which was huge, and yeah, it was crazy. So I love how it chronicles her life and what she went through, and it was just really good. Okay, so this is a different day I'm filming, obviously, because this one that I mentioned, I didn't talk about what I meant to say, so I'm going to do that now. So the next book I read, an ARC that I received through Discovery Reedys, is The Last of the Light. Long story short, I had the shortest relationship with Reedys. They got in contact with me. They're like, you should join. I joined. And in my eagerness, I was like, let's go ahead and grab a book and go ahead and get going. Because if you don't know, Reedys is this online platform where authors can submit their works to have people read them, leave reviews, especially like if they're like ARC books, not yet published. Reviewers can sign up to read those books. It's pretty easy. And I was like, I would love to do that. I love reading and reviewing. I grabbed this book. It sounded like something that I would love. It's about end of days. All the governments in the world get together and decide we're going to end the world in 30 days. And the story follows this guy and his family, and it basically keeps a journal through all the days, and it basically just his life and his last days. So I thought, that sounds like something I would like. Let's give it a go. I ended up giving it 2 stars, and the review style that I did is not my usual style, because when you do Reedys reviews, you have to be more professional, and you guys know me, I'm not professional. Not even. So it had to be more editorial. Looking back over my review, kind of stiff, kind of, I don't know. So I'm going to be rewriting my review to make it fit more me and more like, I don't know, but the book is not out yet. This is not published quite yet. But with Reedys, you go ahead and post a review. So I did, and then getting taken down due to me mentioning that I am not the targeted audience. And also that they said I was a bit too biased with my beliefs and everything. But it was really actually funny when I got the email about my review being taken down, because it was just the final sign that, like, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. To begin with, I couldn't get the stripe thing to work. I could not get it to work. I had someone trying to help me with it. It didn't work. And it kept saying error, error. And it's like, why isn't this working? I should have taken that as a hint at that moment that this was just not meant to be. You know, like something's just, there's a reason, and it just didn't work out. So I couldn't get that to work. And I was really stressed about doing this review and making it just so, because there are a lot of bullet points that you have to check off, you know, when you're doing it. And I was really nervous about getting this right and making it sound good, being honest, even though like it wasn't my cup of tea. They're right, I wasn't the targeted audience. I mentioned that in my review. And honestly, I really don't have time to commit to another platform. I was excited to join and thought it would be fun, and like realistically it's not going to work on my thing. So I'm kind of glad it didn't. I feel bad for the whole review thing, you know, but they're getting someone else, I'm sure, to do that. So my review did not go live on there. So yeah, I learned that Reedys is just not for me. I need to take things slower, not jump the gun like I always do, and just wait, you know, because I didn't even wait around for the introductory welcome call that I was supposed to schedule. I was just like, let's grab a book, you know, so I should have waited. That was my fault. Once the book is live and it's gotten some more reviews, I'll pop mine in there, because I'm still reviewing the book. It's still something I read, and I still have thoughts on it. I'm just not going to do it like on release day or something. I'll wait a little bit and then pop it up there. And what would a month of reading be without me mentioning the Cirque du Freak series? Currently, I'm on book 9 out of 12. 6, 7, 8. And wow. Plot has greatly thickened and things are getting intense. We've gone from Darren just becoming a half vampire, learning how to that new lifestyle and living with the circus for a bit, the Cirque du Freak, and then going out on little missions with Mr. Krebsley and doing all that. But guys, things are getting insane. And I have absolutely just adored 7 and 8 because we see old characters coming back from like the first 2-3 books, which I love that. I love visiting old friends and catching up. There's been a lot of things that happened that you need the knowledge from the previous books because characters show up who are like there for just a little bit and you're like, oh my goodness, you connect into this. I love that. The stakes are really high, no pun intended, and it's getting intense. I love it. I love it. I love it. I gave these 3 books all 4 out of 5 stars. I mentioned this in another review. Even though I really like them, I've given all of them 4 stars for various reasons. Mostly this is the language, I don't like it. And as Darren does grow up, becomes an adult, there is more language in it. Not heavy language, but it's just more frequent. So I don't like that. It is a hindrance. I think the story would be perfect without it, but that's just me. I'm excited to finish it and see how it all ends. This is definitely not anything that I expected. I expected it just to be... Actually, I didn't know when I expected the series, but how it would go, but I certainly didn't expect this whole brouhaha, you know? So it's insane, and I really do enjoy it. My sister is going to be reading the series in the coming months, so I'm excited for her. I hope she loves it, because that would be awesome. And that Book Buddies is what I read during May. It was a pretty decent mismatch, including some manga, and an ARC book, a couple standalones, and of course the Cirque du Freak series. Even though I enjoyed this month's reading, I felt like my reading was very hurried, if that makes any sense. Because I have a lot of library books out, so I was trying to get those in really fast. Then I had the ARC, which was time oriented, so that I felt rushed to get that in and my review in. So yeah, there were only a few books that I read that I felt like I could take my time, that I was allowed to take my time, but the rest I was hurry. And my sister wants her series complete and back on her bookshelf together, which I get that to a degree. What did you read last month? What are you excited to read in June? I have the ARC copy for Just Right by A.M. Heath, so I am reading that. And I'm going to finish the Cirque du Freak series and hopefully a Death Note. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. Hope you enjoyed it. Got some book recs. So until next time, happy reading!